Screw your excuses. Clean up your diet. I don't care how good you think chocolate and pizza tastes. It is never going to help you progress as much as the real whole foods will. The physique you see right here. Hello, ladies. Sorry. Wasn't built from eating Cheetos and Oreos and whatever else you eat. It was built from chicken, beef, eggs, fruit, vegetables, the real whole foods. Oh my God. People focus so much on the training aspect, which is very, very important. They train hard in the gym, but then they completely ignore the nutrition part of building a good aesthetic physique. And yet they wonder why they don't look good or look as good as me. The processed foods aren't just bad for your health, your hormones, your internal functioning, but they are also really bad for muscle gain, fat loss, energy levels, etc. It is so difficult to make good progress eating these foods all of the time compared to eating the real one ingredient whole foods that we are actually biologically designed to eat. These whole foods won't just supplement muscle growth, but they will also aid fat loss, as you are less likely to overeat these whole foods simply because they fill you up more, but also because they don't taste so darn good that you need to constantly eat them to feel any bit of satisfaction like you do with the processed foods. I understand. The fucking Crave box, the cereal, the clusters, honey nut clusters, whatever, they taste good. I'm not gonna lie, they do taste good. And 20% of the time, go enjoy them. I completely agree. I'm someone who's a bit of a foodie myself. I like to go enjoy myself, have a few sweet treats here and there. But come on, man. 80% of the time, 90% of the time, eat the actual foods that we were meant to be eating. The fucking meat, the eggs, the fruit, the vegetables. Why are you 100% of the time just eating these disgusting poisonous foods that are genuinely just sapping all of your energy and destroying all of your progress, and not to mention completely ruining your internal organs? Just a disclaimer, my full aesthetic body course is in the link in the description. It teaches you exactly what you need to do to build the aesthetic physique and get in the best shape of your life. Go check it out right now, link in the description. Like, sure, you train well in the gym, but then you go home when you're meant to recover, rest, and supplement muscle growth, and then you just go eat Cheetos and cake. Like, you're never going to get a good physique if that is how you're going to supplement muscle growth. That is how you're aiding your fat loss. The real way to make real good progress is get yourself into the gym, weight lift, do hard sets where you really push yourself, you train to failure. But then when you go home, you don't just go, oh, okay, I've trained for the day, I'm all good. No, you go and get at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and you get it from the real whole foods, the foods that we were actually meant to be consuming, the meat, the eggs. Eat that. If you just ate meat and eggs and had a bit of fruit and vegetables here and there, you would make 10 times the progress you would ever make than if you were eating the disgusting processed foods. And I can promise you that for a fine fact. I literally was training so hard doing calisthenics. I was doing press-ups, pull-ups, really intensely, really, good training sessions for like a year around there. And my diet was completely terrible. I was just eating whatever I wanted, right? And I was really confused. Why is my physique so bad? Let me think for a second. Maybe because 90% of the time I was feeding my body basically nothing, no nutrients. When I started eating the real whole foods, which didn't just fill me up and made me feel good and gave me some energy, they also gave me more protein and they gave me more nutrients, which helped me build more muscle, which helped me lose fat. And that's not even getting into what it did for my health, what it did for things like my skin, what it did for my, overall well-being. This is just for purely aesthetic reasons. When I started eating the actual, good foods, the whole foods, my physique transformed and I didn't really have to do anything really. I just had to eat a different type of food. And listen, processed foods, they can really grab you by the balls. And I've experienced this. They really grab you by the balls and they squeeze onto that scrotum. I can promise you that. The reason is when you eat these processed foods, these sweet treats, First of all, there's usually chemicals which make you want to have that food again, but also they're usually quite high in sugar. And when you eat sugar in quite high amounts, you constantly crave more sugar. So if you go and have cereal, the next day you're likely to crave cereal again because it's quite high in sugar. You're more likely to crave that sugar again. So that is how they really get you by the balls, and you can't get away from it because you're constantly craving. But once you can break that little cycle of just wanting that sugar and you start eating the whole foods, it's really easy to stick to. Once you get to that point where you've stuck to the whole foods, it's quite easy to stick to. Now listen, again, I'm not telling you to be a robot and never enjoy the nice processed foods or the sweet treats here and there. You can do that. It's fun. It's social. You know, it's all good. That's fine. But for most of the time, you need to be eating the whole foods to make some good progress. Again, this physique you see before you, do you think it was made from Oreos? Do you think that is what built me the muscle? No, that's probably what made my physique look worse. What actually built me the muscle, what makes me look good, is the mincemeat I eat every day, is the chicken I eat every day, is the eggs, is the fruit, the vegetables. Those are the foods which make my physique look good. The foods that make my physique look worse are the processed foods. I understand, bro. Those processed foods taste so good. You go into the supermarket, you just see them all around you, the smells of the, you know, the fresh baked donuts and stuff like that. It smells amazing, it tastes amazing for 30 seconds. And then you realize, oh, I just ate half my calories for the day in one little donut this big. And then you realize you've probably taken 12 minutes off your life. Sorry, a bit serious, but I'm just saying, try eat the whole foods as much as you possibly can, because that is how you make progress. Stop making excuses. It's quite easy to stick to a clean diet. All you need to do is progressively overload or progressively deload the processed foods. So say, for example, all you're eating 100% of the time is the processed foods. How about tomorrow, 80% of the time you eat the processed foods, 20% of the time you have the unprocessed foods. Then the next day or the next week, maybe if you're really that balls deep into, you know, junk foods, how about the next week have 60% processed foods, 40% unprocessed. Then 50-50, then 40-60, 30-70. Yeah. So yeah, try do that, progressively deload it, and listen, man, you'll start eating a clean diet and you will feel so good you'll never want to go back to eating those shitty poisonous foods that are literally causing cancer within you. Okay? My full aesthetic body course is in the link in the description. It teaches you exactly what you need to do to build the aesthetic physique and get in the best shape of your life. Go check it out right now. Link in the description.